Hi Gemini, welcome to your June 2019 love reading. It's Raina here. So I have been experimenting the last couple of months and separating relationship readings with single readings. I'm over that. Maybe some other time I'll do it again, but I just like the idea of doing one reading. And so I'll try to be cognizant of people who are single when I do this. The other thing is I'm going to also pick a card from The Universe Has Your Back deck. See if we come up with any good messages from that. Whoa. This is a lot more intense than the typical Gemini situation that I would imagine. So the heart of matter is the Two of Swords. This can be feeling like you have to make a choice and you can't. So do you have a Capricorn individual and compared to a Scorpio individual in your life? That would be interesting. If there's anybody who is choosing between those two exact signs, please write below. But the person is blindfolded. So, and I mentioned this before. That's a symbol of Gemini too. You know, Roman numeral too. So, the person is blindfolded, which suggests denial, or just yeah. Well, you could say denial because I was going to say denial of the truth of the situation, but also lying to oneself. Maybe it's a false choice. Perhaps there are two people and neither one of them is the right person for you. If you're single, maybe you have something else going on that you're choosing about. And it is kind of like creating issues in your private life, because the Devil card, I could totally see the Devil card being the lure of, you know, maybe a job or you're making a lot of money, but you have no private life. You have to work long hours. Maybe you're working in a foreign country and you're like totally isolated from others, or at least the people that you're normally used to. And yet you just can't turn it down because it's like too good to be true. And then the Judgment card is the higher message. So let me go and look at these, you know, individually. So in the past position, the Devil card could be that perhaps you allowed yourself to be tempted by the fruit of another, to quote the Squeeze. But it's really a card of, or it's funny, I'm thinking, okay, were they called Squeeze? The Squeeze. Then I sound like I'm like 80 years old or something. But, you know, the Devil card is a card of temptation and also a card of feeling that sense of being in bondage to some kind of carnal desire. Now, yeah, we can talk about the physical side of things, but also in terms of greed, of, you know, something that is not quite as wholesome. And maybe there is somebody that you keep going back to who's bad for you, even if you're single and you're trying to go forward in your life. And because actually, as the higher message, the Judgment card can talk about rebirth. But maybe it's very hard to get to this because you're still holding on to the past and this relationship that's, you know, dragging you down. So it might not be that you're choosing between two people, but you're choosing between two paths, whether to go back to that self-destruction or to allow yourself to maybe be alone for a while, and then you can have that rebirth. And so we have that those two sides. And like I said before, when you have that blindfold, it means that there may be a difficulty in really seeing that this is a thing that is important to do. You may be telling yourself all kinds of things. Oh, it's no big deal. I can handle this, and you can't. What crosses you is a tower, and that could be like what awaits. In some cases that everything, all hell breaking loose, because maybe refusing to see something as it is. Again, with the devil card, that temptation. Sometimes that temptation is going to be because the person has this part of themselves that is self-destructive. And when it's in relationships, I think sometimes it's because not feeling that you're deserving of the good in life. And what I would say about that is to rip off the blindfold and to really honor yourself first and foremost. And by doing that, seeing the lure of what the devil represents for what it is. And they call Satan the great deceiver. And that's because it promises so much and delivers so little. And delivers misery sometimes. And with the judgment, this is the higher message. So again, it can be that there's cause and effect in the universe. This is a card of karma. But also of rebirth, of like being able to walk through the fire and come out the other end. And it's kind of like, I don't know why they depict, or, in what context they depict, the devil on one shoulder and the angel on another. I'm sure it's just to indicate the two sides we can choose. We can either choose to go towards the light or to the darkness. And the judgment card to me is like, if you can hold on, if you are in this weakened state in some cases, where you feel like you have to be in a relationship, maybe it's just sporadically with somebody, and that person could easily be a narcissist, by the way. And the reason that I've been saying this a lot lately, but as I learn more about narcissism, that these people can really gaslight their victims, if you will. They can really make you think that you're the one who's crazy. And that's why you go back to them too, because they give the illusion that they're going to change, that they're going to stop being jerks. And then what do? They go back. Once they've got you, they go back and they start being abusive again. But then the other thing too is, in some cases, they do this when they know that you are breaking free. That's when you receive that phone call. You may have been crying yourself to sleep for 5 months straight, and you finally get them out of your system, and then you get a phone call the next day. And so part of you may feel like it's almost like they can read your thoughts. They know, and you kind of give them these special powers, when in fact maybe they can sense it psychically that you have stopped obsessing over them. But regardless, they can be very dangerous to your well-being, just even psychologically, because they are so devious. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that. So